But as Jason Stoughton tells us in his article, The Test of Time, NIST's Wall of Many Stones, this is a long-term data gathering experiment being done by NIST. And of course, NIST has been around for a long time, so they can do long-term experiments like this. So this is out among the trees and the grass on the south end of NIST's Gaithersburg, Maryland campus. The wall is made up of more than 2,000 square and rectangular natural stone samples off of practically every type of color of stone you can think of. It is nearly 70 years old. It's the world's longest running weathering experiment for stone samples, says Stoughton. So you've heard of rapid aging, probably, or accelerated testing, that sort of thing. And that's really where materials providers or materials makers, they want to know how long a material will last. They can't wait around 100 years, so they have ways to kind of simulate aging. And they do that with natural stone as well. Well, there's something called rapid weathering, which is just like what it sounds. It's a way to artificially simulate long-term weathering on various materials. But the key word here is artificial. Rapid weathering is highly efficient, and it's an industry standard. Everybody uses it, but it is artificial. So being able to look at an actual 70-year-old weathered stone samples is the real deal. And as Stoughton writes, if you want to see what actually happens to a particular piece of stone after it's been exposed to the elements over decades, this stone wall stands ready and waiting to show you. And this wall, actually, this is as interesting as that is, this wall itself has a really interesting history, some of which will resonate with some viewers. Stoughton writes that in the late 1800s, the industrialization expansion of many American cities had created a boom in the what? Construction industry.
Of course.
And while many of these new buildings required stone for their construction, stone quarried domestically in the United States was often kind of frowned upon by builders in favor of stone from older, more established sources that weren't in the United States, like China, for instance. How strange. So at that point, it was like, yeah, we don't trust this local stone. We want to go, and you got to remember, a lot of these people are stonemasons, and their fathers were stonemasons, and their grandfathers were stonemasons going back before the U.S. was even here. People stick with the providers they know. If you're used to getting your stone from China or Germany or the UK or whatever, when it comes time to buy stone here in the United States, where are you going to go for your source? Well, I've built the stone all my life, and my granddad and my great-granddad did. You're going to go back to the same source. They didn't trust local sources. So, at the first official World's Fair held here in the United States, the Centennial International Exhibition of 1876 in Philadelphia, among the many exhibits was a collection of loose stone samples, all quarried from United States and territories across the United States. Obviously, the idea here being to show and promote the quality of our own stones so that builders would start using our own stone, or maybe people outside the United States would use it. So from there, from the exhibition, the stones went to the Smithsonian, and from there to NIST, which at that time wasn't NIST, it was the National Bureau of Standards, in Washington, D.C., where in 1948, the loose stones were constructed into the wall that you see here, which stood in D.C. before being moved to Gaithersburg, its location now, in 1977. So in total, the wall contains 2,352 individual stone samples quarried from 47 U.S. states and 16 foreign countries and 2 different types of mortar. So an interesting little bit of history from our friends at NIST.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I mean, and the idea that it originated because, hey, nobody's using our local stone. As a matter of fact, there was a report alluded to in the story that came from an 1884 government report called Reports on Petroleum, Coke, and Building Stones. If you look in there, they talk about this bias toward foreign-made stone over local stone. And one of the comments was something like, it was something like at the very feet of stone doors being built from foreign stone is stone of equal quality. So they're saying, walk right outside the door, and what they mean is local quarries, and there's stone of equal and better quality, but there was a bias against it. And like I said, I think mostly because these, this is an ancient, stonemasons and stone cutting and all that, ancient history behind that, and these are usually family businesses. You're going to go to you're going to go to the source you trust.
Yeah, but think about shipping stone across huge oceans.
Yeah,
the cost of that.
In wooden ships.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You have all those extra costs built in anyway. Great story.
No, it was fun.
Great story there. Thanks, Rick. All right.